The blinding, frantic lights of a Las Vegas brothel.
Sirens screaming through the desert night.
And for 2 days, a former NBA champion, a man who had won 2 titles and married into the most famous family on the planet, he just lay motionless, fighting for his life.
The doctors, they really feared the worst. His body was just shutting down after this near-fatal cocktail of cocaine and herbal Viagra.
He couldn't speak, he couldn't move.
But his mind, and this is what Lamar Odom recalled later, his mind was terrifyingly clear.
And it was in that moment, right there, in the silence of that hospital room, that his entire hidden life just collapsed around him.
He knew, maybe for the very first time.
Knew that all the dark secrets he kept, the addiction, the cheating, the shame, were now laid bare for the entire world to see.
He said he remembered his grandmother's words ringing in his head.
What's done in the dark will come out in the light.
Yeah. And this wasn't just another celebrity crisis. This was like the catastrophic end of a secret life, a confession made by his own body.
Welcome to Starscoop Report.
That's right. Every week, we don't just skim the headlines. We dive deep into the real stories behind the fame.
We uncover the Hollywood drama, the music industry shakeups, and yeah, the viral influencer scandals that really define pop culture.
And today we are focused on what might be the ultimate Hollywood collision, the turbulent Lamar era. The marriage, the hidden betrayal, and the shocking new revelations that are still coming out years later.
So our mission here is to unpack that extreme dual reality of their marriage. You had the picture-perfect life on TV.
So fun, so family-oriented.
And then you have the reality, the destructive scumbag existence that Odom detailed in his own memoir, Darkness to Light.
How did they maintain that illusion for so long?
Yeah.
And what was the true, lingering psychological cost?
It's a lot, and if you are invested in these kinds of Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next deep dive into the real price of fame.
Okay, so let's get into it.
The most devastating part, I think, for anyone who watched Khloé and Lamar back in the day is realizing that the entire fairy tale was, well, it was built on secrets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The public saw this loving husband. He seemed so sincere, so great with the entire Kardashian-Jenner family.
But the reality, and this is straight from Odom's own mouth, was a constant cycle of drug use and infidelity.
I mean, he admits he cheated on Khloé during the entire relationship, hiding a severe addiction to crack and cocaine.
And we're not talking about a one-time thing. He details sneaking off for days at a time, binging in motels with random people and strippers.
All while playing the part of the famous loving husband on camera. The level of deception it's almost superhuman.
And here's where it gets really complex. Khloé wasn't entirely naive.
No, she wasn't. Odom confirmed that while she didn't know the full extent of his habit, she did know about some of the cheating and the drug use pretty early on.
And she wanted to keep it private.
She desperately wanted to handle it within the marriage to shield their image and, probably to protect them from the public fallout.
And that knowledge just changes everything when you rewatch the old clips.
Oh, completely.
Knowing she was working so hard to protect this image while also trying to manage a partner with a hidden, escalating addiction. It's just heartbreaking.
And we have to trace that addiction back to its root.
Right.
Because there's a tragic context here. It's not an excuse, but it's context. Odom said he didn't even try cocaine until he was 24.
And his use became catastrophic. It exploded after the sudden, agonizing death of his 6-month-old son, Jaden, from SIDS in 2006.
Can you imagine? He describes coming home one morning after being out.
Yeah.
And his son was gone.
That's a level of trauma that is just unimaginable. And that was on top of losing his own mother when he was just 12.
Psychologically, that trauma became the fuel. Trauma is a wound, right?
Yeah.
And something like cocaine becomes this destructive form of self-medication. Odom wrote that when he used it, he felt good. For a little while.
He said the anxiety went away. He stopped thinking about pain, about death.
It was the only escape he knew from this unbearable reality.
And that's the ultimate addiction cycle, isn't it? The drug solves the immediate problem, the anxiety.
But it creates this overwhelming shame.
Which then fuels the need for more drugs to mask that shame. It's just a closed loop of self-destruction.
And that cycle, it just intensified the paranoia. And that leads us to the truly darkest chapter of their marriage.
This is where the secrets turned violent.
And it is absolutely chilling.
The addiction didn't just lead to lying and cheating. Odom confessed that he threatened to kill Khloé.
While high on drugs.
Yeah. It's a moment he details in his memoir. He was in his man cave, completely out of control on cocaine and ecstasy.
He was in a full-blown psychosis. hallucinating that people were coming for him, believing there were microphones in the walls,
He was smashing the walls with a golf club.
trying to find these imaginary bugs.
And Khloé, hearing all the noise, comes down and knocks on the door.
And he just snapped.
He opened the door, grabbed her forcefully by the shoulders, and screamed.
I'll fancy kill you. You don't know what I'm capable of.
He called that his new low, the single most regrettable moment of his life.
And you can see why. The physical threat, the paranoia, that complete loss of control. Yeah. It didn't just scare her. It fundamentally broke the trust in their marriage.
That was the end, right there. Whatever the public saw after that, the marriage was over in that moment.
Now connect that mental state to his financial rock bottom.
Right. This is a guy who earned millions, a two-time NBA champion.
And he's so deep in his addiction that Khloé finds him in a squalid, cheap motel room.
A motel, not a hidden mansion, a motel, doing coke with a random person.
That detail is so powerful because it shows you that addiction is the ultimate equalizer. It just strips away the status, the money. Odom said it perfectly. He confessed, I was being a scumbag. He said his dick in my habit took me down all the roads you don't ever want to go down.
The habit becomes the master. It doesn't matter how rich or famous you are.
And then, of course, we fast forward to the 2015 overdose.
They were separated by then. She was dating James Harden.
But she paused the divorce proceedings to manage his medical decisions while he was in a coma.
She stayed by his side, showing him pictures of his late mother, just trying to anchor him back to reality. It shows how deep that bond still was, despite all the trauma.
But you know, the physical threats and the near-death experience, that was just the visible damage.
And that's not even the wildest part.
We have to talk about the shocking emotional abuse that Khloé just revealed on her own podcast. This brings a whole new level of understanding to her trauma.
This is the big, newer revelation. It's from her November 2025 podcast, Khloé in Wonderland.
And the headline here is just devastating. Years of her deeply personal history were literally burned in a fire in front of her.
Tell us about the diaries.
So she revealed that throughout Odom's toughest period, she kept these intensely personal journals.
A therapeutic outlet.
Exactly. She wrote down everything. Her fears, her struggles.
Yeah.
Just her way of processing this unbearable situation.
And Odom's paranoia took over again.
He found the journals. And he became, in her words, incredibly paranoid.
He was convinced she was, taking notes and sending them to the government.
Or something just as crazy. It shows the deep psychosis from the drug use. He turned her safe space into a perceived threat.
And the destruction.
Yeah.
It was so symbolic.
And
horrifying.
He snatched those diaries, years of her most vulnerable thoughts, and he threw them into the flames.
Right in front of her.
She described being on my knees, screaming and just sobbing as years of her life literally went up in smoke.
That is profound psychological damage. It's a total act of control and betrayal.
To destroy the documentation of someone's pain.
Especially your partner's pain, which you caused. And what was the long-term impact on her?
She said that since that night, she has never journaled again.
Never.
Never. She misses the therapy of it, but she said the loss was taken away in a feffing blink, and she can't risk that kind of vulnerability again. She's terrified of another traumatic loss of her private self.
And when you connect that to the bigger picture of fame, for a Kardashian, their entire life is documented. It's often weaponized against them.
That's a great point.
The journals were the one place that was not public. And even that was violently stolen from her.
It basically confirmed that nothing, not even her innermost thoughts, was safe.
It raises a huge question. If the one private practice you use to cope with a public life is destroyed by the partner you share that life with, how do you ever trust intimacy or privacy again?
You don't. Or at least you build up these huge intellectual walls to protect yourself.
Okay, so after all this, the violence, the addiction, the burning of her memories, how did Khloé react when Lamar finally published his full truth for the world?
The response was surprisingly nuanced.
And later in this deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming.
Right, so Lamar Odom released his memoir, Darkness to Light, in 2019.
By then, he was sober.
Sober. But he's very open that it's an everyday struggle. He even said in an interview he wants to get high right now, but he stays clean for his children.
His kids were a huge part of his recovery, right?
Absolutely. He revealed that his daughter, Destiny, gave him this direct ultimatum. She said, Dad, you need to get yourself help or I'm not going to talk to you again.
Wow. That's powerful.
And when the book came out, Khloé's reaction was incredibly mature, considering everything that happened.
She told Kim on camera that she was fine with it. She said, it's his truth. He's allowed to tell his version.
But then she went a step further. She called his honesty really courageous for detailing the true depths of his addiction.
Okay, that word, courageous. Let's challenge that a little.
We should.
Honesty is difficult, for sure. But given the emotional and physical abuse, and the fact that he was making money from this book, is it truly an act of courage?
Or is it a calculated, necessary step for him to control his own narrative and move forward?
That's the critical lens. I think for Khloé, accepting his truth also helps her control her narrative. It lets her avoid a public fight and show how much she's grown. It lets her say, I survived this and I'm healed enough to accept his healing process.
She even said that sharing his story might be a necessary form of therapy for him.
That level of acceptance shows this profound psychological distance from the trauma. It's a healthy detachment you need to move on.
And you can see that change so clearly when you contrast it with how she first coped after the divorce.
Revenge body.
Exactly. Revenge Body was all about physical transformation, changing the outside to feel better on the inside.
He was an outward way of coping.
But her current acceptance of his memoir, her appreciation for his truth, that shows a shift to inner intellectual healing. It's moving beyond needing external validation.
That journey right there, from changing her body to intellectually accepting his painful truth as part of her past, that tells the whole story of her growth.
If you're invested in the reality of fame and how celebrities navigate this kind of severe trauma, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next time we dive deep.
Ultimately, the whole Lamar era is just one of the clearest examples in Hollywood of how a perfectly curated public image can hide this profound private struggle.
And just devastating betrayal.
And despite all the damage from the addiction, the paranoia, the destruction of her memories, Khloé's eventual acceptance of his confession suggests a difficult but possible path to healing for both of them.
But the question you, the listener, have to ask yourself is, given the scale of that abuse, the physical threats, the burning of her memories, is that level of forgiveness and acceptance truly something you could maintain?
Or does it require separating the person from the pain they inflicted just to be able to move forward?
It's a powerful thought to mull over.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.